Quick disclaimer before I get into the video. I accidentally called this truck a 1987 a bunch of times throughout the video. Just correct it to 1986. This is a 1986 Chevy K10, not 1987. In these crazy times with the coronavirus and everybody being quarantined, I figure I'd bring you a video. I can't fix any cars right now because all my parts are arriving on April 23rd since shipping is so slow with this craziness. So I'm just going to pit these three trucks against each other. We'll see how far General Motors has come in the last 30 some years or something. This is a 1987 Chevy K10 versus my daily driver 2010 Silverado. And then this is a brand new 2020 GMC Sierra 2500 HD. So we got brand new versus 10 years old, which is probably an average age for people who are driving cars around, versus a little bit of an antique over here with 1987. So we'll pit them against each other, see how much GM has improved, or see if the older ones are actually better than the newer ones. Alright, I'll give you the stats of all the trucks here. I wrote them down here. I looked them up on Google. This is a 1986 Chevy K10 with a 5-liter V8, 4x4, 4-speed manual transmission with 190 horsepower and 285 foot-pounds of torque. Behind me is a 2010 Silverado with a 4.8-liter V8, 4-speed automatic transmission with overdrive, which has 302 horsepower and 305 foot-pounds of torque. And over here we have the 2020 GMC Sierra 2500 HD. This has a 6.6-liter V8, which is very large, a 6-speed automatic transmission, 401 horsepower, and 464 pound-feet of torque. So yes, obviously this isn't a super fair comparison with that truck, but that was the only 2020 truck I could get my hands on from the company. Let's start them all up. Feel the power of the 6.6-liter V8. A little bit quieter, but still respectable sounding V8. Now for the turn of the tried and true K10. This guy hasn't been started in over a month. Let's see how it does. There she goes. I lost battery connection, but I just wiggled the terminals and it came back. All right, she's growling away. This truck is not stock on the exhaust. It has 2 cherry bombs, which is why it's going to be quite a bit louder than the other trucks. The last quick thing I want to do before we get into the actual testing is I want to show how the interiors have progressed over the years. So here's what we started out with. This is 1986 K10. You got the manual roll-down windows, manual locks. A nice bench seat. There's no adjustment on the seat. That's where you get your back support, and then you can move this bit back and forward. Here's your gauges. Simple, no tachometer. There's your heat controls. You get a 4 on the floor with the manual 4x4 shifting, 1 cigarette lighter, an ashtray, and that is it. Moving into the 2010, this was the last generation before they moved to all that fancy screens and stuff. So this is a real man's work truck. We got manual locks, manual roll down windows still, seats up here that fold into a bench seat just like the other truck. Sorry it's dirty. This is my daily driver and Beetle sits up here quite a bit. Gauges, once again, super similar. You just get a tachometer on this one, unlike the other one. The radio and heat controls are simple and easy. Nothing fancy on that, no screens. And then the dashboard is just plastic. So this interior, while it's more modern, really the functions are the same as the 1986 interior. There's no Bluetooth or anything fancy like that. Now 2020, here's where we start to get fancy. This is a base model 2500 HD, but you get this screen here, which comes with Bluetooth and all that stuff. Get automatic door locks, door windows, because they don't offer manual ones anymore in these new trucks. I think 2014 was the last year they offered it. Seats are the same. This is a crew cab, so we've got some space back there. Anyway, it's just a lot fancier up here. The four-wheel drive is a push button. Tow haul mode is up here. You get a screen in here. We don't actually have to service parking brake. It just shows up with that. And then you get quite a few more gauges. And you have cruise control. Neither of these two trucks have cruise control. So the interiors on here start to get fancier. But of course, you do have to pay a price for that. All right, now it's time for the 0 to 60 test. We found this great stretch of road to do a 0 to 60 test on. Okay, the K10 did a respectable showing. Now it's time for the Silverado, 2010 Silverado. Here we go with the Silverado. Woo! All right, 60. That was quite a bit faster than the other one. I think we had 60 at this yellow sign with the other truck. 60 in second gear. You don't see that every day. And now the truck we've all been waiting for, the GMC 2500 HD. All right, let's see how the big 2500 does. Woohoo! I like this truck a lot. This is a pretty cool truck. So now we're gonna do the dirt road part of the comfort test, starting in the K10. Over here, there's a road where they use quite a lot of big rocks to grade it. So usually it's pretty bumpy when we drive over it. Let's see how this one does. Look at all these giant rocks they use to grade it instead of mud. So you can see it's pretty bumpy. All right, comfort test in the 2010 Silverado. Here we go. Same road. Let's see the volume difference and comfort difference. Well, it's definitely a lot quieter. All right. Time for the comfort test in the 2020 GMC. Here we go. I have high expectations. can't tell whether it's quieter in the 2010 or not, but it is quiet, that's for sure. So most people buy a truck for towing, and that's why the next test is going to be the towing test. We got a 5,000 pound ballast back there. Each truck is going to be towing it up this hill outside my house back there, which is I think an 8% grade, very steep. We'll see how each one does. I'm sure that this one and the Silverado over there will probably struggle a bit, but we'll just have to see. Basically the challenge is this: I'm going to turn this truck around and we're going to go up the hill back there again. It's going to be a test of how stable the truck feels with the heavy trailer on the back, how well I can accelerate with the load, how well it handles the hill, because this is going to be sharp uphill. Let's do it. Alright, we got second. We're coming up to the very steep hill here. This is quite steep. We're doing about 20 miles an hour. Part two of the towing test, we're going to go back down that same hill. Let's see how stable it feels going down the hill. Alright. Going back down, the brakes don't feel super good. I got to press them down pretty far. But we're keeping it under 20, no big deal. Well guys, I will say I am really surprised and impressed at how well this thing performed. I thought we weren't going to be able to get out of first gear up that hill, but it pulled no problem, and I still had some power left if I wanted to accelerate even more. And that was a really steep incline, 8% like I said a couple of times. So that's impressive, but I think that the other trucks will do even better. Let's load them up. Okay, we got the 2010 Silverado loaded up. Okay, the 2010 Silverado, let's see how this one handles it. I'll put it in tow haul mode. Alright, we're doing 20, which is what the K10 was doing. Definitely handles it a little easier. Now let's see if I can accelerate up this hill a touch. Not very easily. Struggling to do 30. Woo, she's really cooking. Okay, well it did better than the Colorado. I really put my foot down and we were able to get up to about 33 there. But it was not happy about it, and it really wasn't happy about upshifting. It feels more stable than the K10. It's not downshifting by itself, which is a little annoying. It's just solely brakes. I wish it would downshift in the tow haul mode. Okay, we got the 2500 loaded up, which was a lot easier because it had a reverse camera. Okay, 2020 Sierra. Here we go, we got it in tow haul mode. Up the hill we go. See how much power I have. We're going 40 now, easy. Yeah, this thing has an abundance of power. It didn't even bat an eye at the 5,000 pound load on the back of it. Oh boy. Yeah, we're not gonna make that. All right. Time to back up. Well, there's one thing. If you want to have a more maneuverable truck. Lost my phone out the window. But what I was saying is if you want to have a more maneuverable truck, get a smaller wheelbase one, because these ones can't turn as sharply. I suppose I'll roll up my window now. Well, the braking feels great. I don't feel concerned at all. Well, the verdict of this truck is as expected. It's super stable, has abundance of power. I don't feel concerned at all. So even when going downhill, the brakes feel perfect. So yeah, this is the obvious winner of the tote. But I was very impressed with the performance of both the other two trucks. They both surprised me. Okay, I'm done with the real life tests, which were towing, 0 to 60, and comfort tests. The GMC won both the towing and the 0 to 60 test. Unsurprisingly, everybody knew that was going to happen. And I'm giving the Silverado the comfort test just because the chairs are so much comfier. The cabin ride is a little bit softer. It could be because it has more miles, so the springs are a little softer. And this one's it's so tight that it kind of bustles you around quite a bit. And the seats haven't been used much, so they're pretty firm. They're too firm, actually. But anyway, I'm giving the comfort test to the Silverado. So let's talk about value. The Silverado in the middle is pretty obviously the best value, and I'll tell you why. This GMC is a great truck, and I'm sure it will last quite a while. I bet the 6.6 will prove to be pretty reliable. But it costs $43,000 on the showroom floor, so you're paying $43,000 for a work truck, which is quite a bit. This one I paid $1,900 for. And it's still shifting and driving really good, and it tows just fine. So that seems like a better value to me than buying that one. If you really need to tow heavy stuff, then you'd need a 2,500. But I think the best value is a Silverado. This guy is not a great value. These are actually appreciating because they're becoming collectibles. So I paid $3,200 for this one, and it's just not as capable, and it's probably not going to be as reliable as the newer trucks. So if you actually just want a good value work truck, I'd buy a 10-year-old truck of whatever brand of choice you have. If I were buying my truck to be the most fun and to be a little brash and showy, of course I would buy this one. It's fun with the manual transmission. It's very showy. People look at it wherever you go. It always turns heads, especially with the exhaust like it is. And it's capable enough. I towed a 5,000 pound trailer with it, and it was doing just fine. These two are not quite as fun. They're more for towing and for long distance traveling. So there's my take on these three vehicles. If you guys have different takes on them, you can leave them in the comments below. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week for the thumbnail.